What's up, THS? I'm Mrs. Smith from the library. Our theme this week is Feels Like Summer, and these are my top 3. This is our very last top 3 for the school year, and I don't know about y'all, but your favorite librarian is ready for summer break. So the books I've chosen for this video all feature kids who are on their summer break, and the first one is a brand new one from Monica Gomez-Hira called Once Upon a Quinceañera. This book is terribly, terribly cute, and it kind of unfolds like a telenovela, so I have to be careful with the details because part of the drama is that there are things about Carmen's life and Mauro and Ariana that we don't know, and it gets revealed to us in this like juicy, dramatic way throughout the book, and it's really, really good. The hero of our story is Carmen Aguilar. She's 18, and this is the summer after her senior year. Now, unfortunately, Carmen did not complete the graduation requirements as they relate to her senior project, a life visioning internship that she was supposed to complete. She has valid reasons for that, which you'll discover as you start to read this book. I don't want to spoil that for you. But all of that is to say that she's redoing her senior project, and her internship is with a party company called Dreams Come True, where she and her best friend Waverly dress up like Disney princesses and entertain little kids at birthday parties, baby showers, stuff like that. Now, as we get to know Carmen, we discover that she has a pattern of things in her life just kind of not working out how she wanted them to. Her quinceañera was canceled. There are a lot of dramatic, juicy reasons for that kind of get, dropped in little tiny pieces that we have to put together. And then her relationship with Mauro did not work out. And both of those things are coming back into the picture over summer break when she figures out that her company, Dreams Come True, was hired to do the quince for her spoiled, bratty little cousin, Ariana, whom she blames for basically ruining her life. Now, her ex-boyfriend Mauro comes back in the picture when he also gets a summer job for Dreams Come True, and Carmen and Mauro are reluctantly paired together as dancing partners at Ariana's quince. I told you this book is cute. It's also hilarious. She's just a really funny girl, and there's romance in there, of course, and drama. The chapters end on that like cliffhanger telenovela where you're like and then you have to read the next chapter right away. It reminds me of like Jane the Virgin and My Super Sweet 16 had a baby and it became this book. So that is available for you now if you'd like to check that out. Book number 3 is Once Upon a Quinceañera. Book number 2 is a short little summer adventure story about a 14-year-old kid named Jack who is kind of a magnet for trouble. You may know Jack from Hole in My Life. That's a story about this same person when he was in his 20s getting in trouble, and here he has backed up to maybe a little like adolescent trouble that might explain how he ended up in prison as a 21-year-old. Book number 2 is called The Trouble in Me, and it's by Jack Gantos. So for freshman book clubs, Hole in My Life was a big hit. A lot of you all really liked that. If you think back to earlier in the year, Dr. Jacobson did a book talk on Hole in My Life. That's the story about the kid who agrees to get on this boat smuggling drugs from the Virgin Islands to New York, gets busted, goes to prison, and then becomes an author. That author, Jack Gantos, also wrote stories about himself when he was a kid, and The Trouble in Me is one of them. And this really ties beautifully into Hole in My Life, so if you liked that book, you probably need to check this one out. In this book, Jack is 14. It's the summer before his 8th grade year, and his family has just moved into a new neighborhood. Their next door neighbors are the Pagodas, and they're this mysterious family who never comes outside, but they're like always yelling in their house. And then a boy, a little bit older than Jack, shows up, turns out he's just been released from a juvenile detention facility, and his name is Gary. And this book is about the trouble that Jack and Gary get into, that maybe Jack probably would have never gotten into if he hadn't met Gary Pagoda. Now, Gary isn't necessarily nice. He's kind of a bully. They don't get along, but Jack is mesmerized by Gary, and he wants so badly to be accepted by this kid that he does a lot of impulsive and dumb stuff that is really fun to read about. If you saw the cover, there's a gas can, so that should be a clue for you. That theme just kind of carries from the beginning to the end of the book, and once you get done reading this, you'll understand the impulsivity and the behavior that would lead Jack Gantos to be like, sure, yeah, I'll smuggle drugs for you as a 21-year-old kid. The Trouble in Me is a quick and funny little faux memoir by Jack Gantos that I would highly recommend to those of you who liked Hole in My Life or just like reading books about boys getting in trouble. So that is book number 2, The Trouble in Me. So my top pick for this week is a killer thriller by Karen and McManus, where 3 estranged cousins are brought to a resort over the summer for the first time, enticed by a mysterious letter related to their inheritance. This is by Karen McManus, and it's called The Cousins. Millie's story, Jonah's story, and Aubrey's story are all cousins, but they've never met each other. They share the same grandparents, and their grandmother, Mildred's story, is this rich, reclusive woman who has been estranged from her own 4 children for the last 24 years. Now, rich Grandma Millie lives on and owns a resort on the East Coast where lots of wealthy people take their summers. And so at the beginning of this book, all 3 of the cousins, Millie, Jonah, and Aubrey, get a letter from Grandma Mildred inviting them to the summer resort to work there over their summer break. Now, none of the cousins are particularly interested in this opportunity. They all had their own plans for the summer, but their parents are the ones that are essentially making them go, with the hopes that when the grandkids meet the grandma, her heart will be softened, and then she will, add the kids back to her will, and everybody can share in the story fortune again. Once the kids arrive at the summer resort, they realize that nothing is as it was advertised to be, and there's a mystery to solve, and it involves a summer where their parents, the 4 Story siblings, did some pretty bad stuff. So we uncover that through this novel. There's a lot of twists and turns, everything that you would expect from Karen and McManus, and that will wrap up our list for this Feels Like Summer theme. I've had a lot of fun with these book talks this year, telling you about some great novels that are available in our library. In fact, this video marks the 75th book that you've heard about this school year, and I think that's pretty awesome. All 75 of those books are still available for you for the next 2 weeks. All library materials are due on the 21st of May, unless you are graduating this year, in which case you want to bring those back to me on the 14th, and congratulations. I wish you all a beautiful end of your school year, a wonderful summer. Please be safe, and I will talk to you guys again next year with some more book talks. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.